Hey guys and gals, it's Logan Freeman, and this is the LiveFree Investors Podcast, where I interview investors and business owners who share investment advice so you too can live free. Today, I'm talking with a good buddy of mine, Scott Lippert. Scott, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, everybody. My name's Scott Lippert, and I'm the president of Artisan Technology Group, which is a custom software development company. We do web, mobile, data, all cloud services when we do our solutions. So AWS, Azure, GCP as well. When I'm not doing that, I help with my family business as well. JTL Properties, Crest Management, CM Construction. They're in commercial real estate, mostly in multifamily housing. And when I'm not being the president of Artisan Technology Group, I help my family identify investment opportunities that we bring in the family portfolio of companies. So those are the two things that I do.
I counted about 15 right there. I always think it's fun whenever Scott and I start to try to schedule meetings, because it's like, hey, are you free here? Or no, I got this window right here. So this was scheduled probably 3 months ago. So I was looking forward to this episode, Scott. And whenever we first met, something that really struck me was your go-giver mentality. I'm this young entrepreneur in Kansas City trying to reach out to folks and kind of get my network built up here. And I think that you asked me multiple times in our first meeting at the Russell, I really want to hear how I can support you. And I just really appreciated that go-giver mentality. So, where'd that come from? Where did that, give value first kind of come from, and think about how you can help somebody, especially as, new to the business and everything like myself?
Well, I'm a believer, what comes around goes around. So I like helping others as much as I like helping myself.
Mm-hmm.
When you go in with that mindset, people such as yourself, they feel that, and it helps build the relationship. It helps build trust, because they know that you're not there only for yourself, but you're there as well to help other people move things forward. So, I learned that from my father and other mentors that I had. Right, you don't want to go in right away and go after exactly what you want. Right.
Yeah, it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes from Zig Ziglar, and it's, if you help enough other people get what they want in life, you'll ultimately get what you want. And early on in my career, so 5-6 years ago, I understood that conceptually, but it's very difficult when you're trying to put food on the family as a salesperson to have that mentality. But what I've learned over the years is, if you can adopt that mentality of, what Gary Vaynerchuk says, jab, 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 right hook, it really will start to pay dividends. So you've got a lot of businesses going on. You've got a lot of investment opportunities that you've invested in, really cool opportunities. We don't need to touch on any one in particular, but through your investment career thus far, what do you think is the best thing about being an investor and a business owner?
Gosh, I like it because every day is different.
Yeah.
And every day brings on opportunity. And when you're an entrepreneur, an investor, and doing all those things, you can really dig into those opportunities because you kind of built the support system around you. To go after those things and be able to dig in. And when you find something that you like, you're able to move those opportunities forward. So yeah. I'm blessed in that, and who I'm surrounded with, and the family that I have, and just been very fortunate. But yeah, it's every day is different. I'm able to when you're an entrepreneur and want to go out and do things and build things and scale things, I'm in a pretty nice situation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like the world becomes your playground a little bit, and I'm a big reader, obviously got a lot of books behind me here. And I just was reading and finished Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. And I tell you what, my biggest takeaway from that book is, that there's something called the art of living. And when you're an entrepreneur, you get to build your businesses around your life and not your life around your businesses. And I really appreciated the fact that, he took kind of a philosophical view and approach his whole life of being very self-aware. But I love the mentality that, when you're building businesses, you're an entrepreneur, you're able to see opportunities and then act on them very, very quickly. And in that light, Scott, you own multiple businesses, and, with COVID-19, we're 13, 14 months in now. You've had to probably pivot and adjust and figure out how you're going to approach all of this. But, keeping up to date with all of those opportunities or challenges can be a real difficult, task for most folks. So how have you stayed on top of all of the things happening in the economy that, you have to then go make business decisions on, and tell us a little bit about how COVID has impacted your businesses?
COVID had some impact, definitely on our business. Mainly, we had a lot of, on the Artisan side, the custom software development company. We had all these engineers, and we were growing this company. It's basically a startup. We've been around for 2 or 3 years now. I don't know if you know this, Logan, but we were the second fastest growing company in the Midwest. But yeah, making that shift, we wanted everybody in the office. We felt at the time that, a new company like ours, growing culture and environment was very important. So we didn't know when COVID came and all of our engineers and data engineers and cloud engineers and architects went home, how that would affect our business. And really what we found out was utilization was actually up. We saw our business grow during COVID, right? Because we're in the digital transformation space.
Sure.
Companies that are not looking to go towards the digital transformation, they're either going to lose their footing, right? Yeah. Actually not going to be a company for a while. Mm-hmm. A lot of companies that were on the fence definitely wanted to sit down and start having conversations to figure out how they could start moving their companies that way. So yeah, we are very lucky that COVID actually, we were one of, I shouldn't say few companies, but our company did grow through this. So yeah, trying to think other things, when it comes to the family business, it created a lot of opportunities, a lot of investment opportunities, I would say during 2020, that opened up more things, right? As everything started shifting, it just, gosh, I don't know how to explain it, but it opened up things. I'm trying to think. So some of the investment, I'd like to actually start this all the way back. So my family, commercial real estate, multifamily housing. So when I got out of college, I went to work for my family. I was in they put me in property management, wanted me to learn the business. And they knew eventually I would go out and help them find opportunities and opportunities. So they wanted me to learn the business from the ground up. They started me in property management. I did that for about a year and realized that's not where I wanted to be. And I went to my father and said, hey, listen, I want to do what you do. I want to go out. I want to find these opportunities. That's what I was, business development, sales. That's what I wanted to get into. Sure. He told me at the time. And then that's how I pivoted from there and got into technology staffing, technology consulting. even had some stints at Sprint. I went out to San Francisco, helped build out some IT departments for startups out there during the era. Then I had a chance to come back, start my own company called Synergy One. Worked with Sprint as a preferred vendor. During all this time, though, my dad's my best friend, my mentor. So very close always to real estate. Always knew what I was doing in that space. Meanwhile, as I'm stepping through life, my father's always asking me, "Hey, do you want to come in and work for the family business? You're not, green anymore. Would love to have you." Right. But I really liked what I was doing on the technology side. So now today, my father's our investor in Technology Group. I'm trying to think some of the things that we've done this year. So RealX Trading. It's a couple executives came from SIBO and Bats Trading, and they're spinning an exchange for commercial real estate. How to get real estate liquid. So we're really excited about that opportunity. Lending Standard, also, which is lending in the commercial space. Flyover Capital came to us to see if we'd help close out that round. So those are two things. Pioneer Financial Services, which is a company that lends to the military, were opportunities that came our way this year. Trying to think what else.
Well, the other, I think before we started recording, you were telling me, I mean, it has impacted your business in the sense of the footprint of your office too, right? I mean, that has proposed or created some new opportunities as well. So talk to us about the workflow, because you mentioned that you wanted folks in the office, but utilization was actually up during COVID. So tell us about how that worked out and why do you think that is?
Well, they didn't have to travel, right? Some people live up north, live way west. They're spending an hour, some an hour and a half in the car. They don't have that. Also, engineers, they come in and maybe work from 8 to 5, but once 5 hits, they're pretty checked out. Yeah. Working from home, they'll go do their things with their children. They'll go run their errands, but then once they get that all done and maybe get the children to bed, they'll go back and start working again, right? There's more flexibility there. Yeah. And engineers, just in general, when you're talking about engineers, they love being behind a computer and creating things and solving problems. They're usually, for the most part, not quite as extroverted. Right. They're more introverted, and I think it gears itself more, and they love working from home. They just do, and we found their utilization's up. When we kind of gear toward 80% utilization, and through this we saw that we were in the mid 80s through utilization. So it went up, by 4 or 5% through COVID. Hence, we're wide open to the remote working today. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. As we're continuing to grow as a company and thinking through, we don't have software engineers, right? I mean, all of our stuff is tangible, and we're in the commercial real estate space as well. Thinking through how to keep that culture very, very strong is kind of one thing that's on the forefront for us. Thankfully, most of our staff has been fully vaccinated and feels very comfortable to be in a controlled office environment. So we've been spending a lot of time in the office. But I think I know who you're going to refer back to here, because I know how close you are with your father and his impact on you. But I'm curious, all the way through your business career, if you could think back and maybe just give us a little bit of an insight onto some of the nuggets that were maybe the best advice that you've received as an investor and a business owner up to this point. I think some of the advice is patience. Yeah. When you see things, you want to react and you want to do it very quick. But I think laying back a little bit, let things take its shape, really do your due diligence, and sit back. I mean, sure that you might run into something that needs to get done really quick. Obviously, you're gonna have that move quick then.
Yeah.
But if you don't, sit back, take everything in, cross all your T's, dot all your I's, make sure everything's done, do your due diligence. I mean, those are the main things that my father and other mentors and business owners have taught me. When you're young, you want things, to go quick.
Right.
You don't have the experience behind you, right? You want everything in, you want it today. You don't want it tomorrow. But when you can, to sit back, I think it is very valuable.
Absolutely. And I remember a quote that I love quotes. And so it's kind of how I remember stuff. And I think one of my coaches, in college said, Logan, you got to be quick, but don't hurry. You got to be able to move fast, but you got to make sure that you're not in a rush whenever you're moving. So, the way that I've adopted that now is thinking through different mental models and having lattice works to actually use framing. When a new challenge or opportunity comes in, I have a mental model to think through that and understand it. And I think that's the way that you can be quick, but you're not hurrying, you're not rushing, you're sitting there, you're thinking through it, but you also have a framework to use to make a quick decision. So I think that's great advice. And Scott, I know that you're a learner as well. So I wanted to ask you, what is the book or books that you've most given as a gift in the last 6 to 12 months?
It's been around for a while, but The Power of Trust.
Okay.
Stephen Covey.
Yep.
I highly recommend that for anybody. Trust is the center of everything. If you go into anything and the trust is not there, you're going to have a hard time getting things done.
Yep.
I highly recommend that book to everyone to read. It's real powerful. It's served me well. So that would be the one. And I actually bought a whole bunch of those books and handed them out to a lot of friends. So that would be.
He's one of my favorite authors. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People was extremely beneficial in my career. I think that book needs to be required reading in every business and or just college degree at some point. So I appreciate you sharing that. This is a question that I ask everybody. I never brief anybody about this question, but it's kind of my whole brand. It's living free. It's, figuring out how to live your life on your own terms. So what is your best way that you live free on a regular basis?
That's a tough question, but I'd say through my kids.
Yeah.
To see how, I have a 10 and a 12-year-old, both type A personalities. They've never met a stranger, very inquisitive. And just to see how those two live so free. I mean, they have the whole world in front of them, and they're two that, want to experience everything that they can possibly experience.
Yep.
Both super athletic. They play every sport that you can think of. Tons of friends. They're always having friends over or going to friends' house. But just to see that and think back to when I was their age and how they live their lives, and definitely much more free, less structured. It's pretty eye-opening.
Yeah, I would completely agree. And I'm learning a lot as a father myself. So I would have to say that definitely my 2 little kids live free on a regular basis. Spoken like a true investor and business owner. Scott, we have a lot of software engineers, we have a lot of people in the tech space that tune in on a regular basis to see what we're talking about. And if folks want to reach out to you or find more about what you have going on, where can we point them to so they can connect with you, Scott?
I'll give everybody my emails. It's scott.lippert at artisantechgroup.com.
There we go.
That's really good. Feel free to go out to our website, artisantechnologygroup.com.
Yeah, we'll make sure to tag you in the posts whenever we get this up. So Scott, really appreciate that. Guys and gals, this is Logan Freeman with the Live Free Investors Podcast, where investors and business owners share advice so you too can live free. For more insights and ideas on how you can live free on a regular basis, connect and message with me on LinkedIn today and find Scott. He just was so gracious to give his email address out. So if you want to reach out and learn more about what he's got going on in the tech space, feel free to reach out to Scott. Scott, thanks for joining us today.
Sure.
Until next time, live free.